Hello, everyone. It's Friday again. Yay, good news for all of us. And you'll notice that our Friday live streaming Scrimba Bonanza is looking a bit different this week because I'm joined by none other than Tom, which definitely is worthy of a round of applause. If you're not familiar with Tom, Tom is a tutor on the front-end career path in Scrimba and has worked with us since before Christmas, I want to say. When did you join?
Yeah, absolutely right, December. So, yep.
Yeah, perfect, yeah. And you can find some of Tom's brilliant work in the career path right here. Yes, remind me which modules it is. 6, is it?
It is... all the numbers have changed. It is 7 and 4 and short 5.
Brilliant. So there you go. Check it out. Now, today, Tom, who is wearing the same outfit as Dave, nice styling, and I are going to be coding an image filter app. And we have a little bit of, well, I don't call it boilerplate, I'd call it, we've started it off, I would say, earlier on in the day, so you don't have to watch us doing the basics. But yeah, what do we have here? Just to run through it, what we made in our little Friday afternoon coding call. Just a body with an image of Pumpkin, the Scrimba mascot, and a container with some buttons, which we've styled. I don't currently do anything. There's nothing in the JS. And yeah, there's our styling. Used Flexbox to center it. We used Gap, which is a new feature. What does Gap actually do? I mean, it gives gaps, but doesn't it replace something else, Tom?
It's, well, in Flexbox, it just allows you to really easily control the space between the elements if you're not doing it any other way. So yeah, instead of messing around with lots of sort of margins and things like that.
Yeah, so just to show you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when we coded that, I think we refactored, didn't we, after using FlexWrap? So that FlexWrap might not actually do anything anymore.
Really? No, it doesn't.
I think it's surplus now. We could get rid
do we
of
actually need display flex on? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we had it on the body, would it bubble down? But
oh no,
trickle down or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't. So that's what matters. Yes, Dave to the rescue. Dave, not Dave. Gap replaces FlexGap and works in grids too. That is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll notice there's a little green squiggle under here. That happens to new properties on Scrimba, but it's still working. So don't worry about it. It's just telling you it's new. Yes. So welcome everybody. We will get started coding very shortly. But first, we mustn't forget our weekly tradition of, if you are new here, please put a bunny rabbit into that chat. If you've been before, hit me with that tiger. We don't use this information. It's just for fun. Yeah. Oh, Ruben didn't know about Gap. Yeah, that's not Ruben. That's Ruben. Yes, very handy little property. Just learnt about Gap yesterday. Where are the rounded corners, Leanne? Yeah, we do normally have rounded corners, but I quite liked the more pointy look of this one, so we decided to leave it. Tom is a tiger. Very much so. And a tiger/elephant. Can you imagine? Brilliant stuff. So anyway, what's the plan, Tom? A few to-dos we have are creating filter buttons. Well, we've created them, but they don't currently do anything, so wiring them up. Allowing the user to upload images. Now, I don't think we can actually do that within Scrimba. You can upload an image. Clearly, I've done it here. But what I mean is want to upload it in the mini browser, which isn't possible. But maybe we'll talk about how you could do it in another project. allowing the user to create their own filter. That'll be interesting. And letting the user download or share their filtered images. Well, we better get on with it, Tom. What do you reckon?
Yeah, okay. Should we start with the relatively easy part of wiring up those buttons and making them do what they say they do?
Totally. Yeah. So what approach do you think is best? Because the two I can think of are adding a class, a different class for each filter, or just changing the property via the style in the JS. Is any one of those better?
I don't think it matters. So you're thinking like we could create some classes and then each individual button will just toggle those classes on and off, for example?
Yeah.
Yeah, or alternatively actually add the style. I think it's neater to toggle, don't you think?
Toggle the classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more readable.
It is, isn't it? Let's go with that.
Yeah, it's probably more code, but sometimes it's better to have more code than, make it clever and no one can understand it ever. So let's do blur. We are going to be using, as you'd expect, the CSS filter property. And what does that actually look like? I've forgotten. CSS filter. Oh, look, I've been here before. So these are the, funky, different types you can do. Blurry, contrast, I guess, just, makes it a bit more colorful. Grayscale, and so on and so forth. So we'll use one of those. We've got blur 5 pixels. Let's see what that does. Blurry pumpkin incoming, maybe. But we need to put it on here to test it out first. Class equals blur. Get ready to be amazed. Oh, well, that works. So good. So now we just need 3 more.
Yeah, I suppose if we weren't going to toggle classes, then it would be easier if we wanted to let the users decide how much blur they wanted. But maybe that's just a step too far.
Maybe it is. Let's see how it goes. We can always refactor later. Dot gradient. Oh, not sure how to do that one yet. I'll come back to the black and white. And dot sepia. So filter blur, fairly self-explanatory. I'm hoping there's one in here which kind of does what I want. I don't think grayscale is the one. What do you reckon, Tom?
Right. I think grayscale, if you take it down to a very low percentage, should do the trick.
Oh, okay. So it's removing 50% of the color or something.
Something like that. And I think if we...
Let's have a look. Put class equals... Oh, that's a really long class name. I'm not typing all of that. All right. Oh. It's still blurry. Oh, it's because I put it in the wrong one.
Okay. There we are. Very high percentage. I knew it was one or the other.
Fair dues. So black and white pumpkin is now more black and white, I guess.
That is a nice picture, actually, isn't it? That really works.
It's quite nice, yeah. Okay, let's see what's happening in the chat. Oh, a discussion between what's better, grid or flexbox. Oh boy. Do you have a preference on that?
I always default to flexbox and use grid if I come across a reason to. I think flexbox for me just comes more fluidly just because I've used it way more. But yeah, I know. Kevin Powell kind of changed, didn't he? He was always a flexbox person, and then he decided that actually grid is really cool and you just need to get over the initial sort of resistance to it. So I don't know, what about you? Flexbox?
I do prefer Flexbox. When I look at grid and learn it, and basically every time I use it, I have to go and do Scrimba CSS grid course. I think it's only half an hour or something, but I have to redo it because I don't use it often enough to remember it. Oh, it's actually an hour. But at 2x speed, it's half an hour. I speed through that and then I think, oh yeah, this is actually really brilliant. And then I don't use it for 6 months and go back to Flexbox. I don't know why, I just don't find it intuitive. It's very...
unforgiving, isn't it? I think when the syntax is slightly wrong with grid, then everything just breaks.
Yeah.
Whereas is a bit more forgiving and you can kind of see a bit more intuitively.
Yeah. And with Flexbox, if something's wrong, rather than breaking, generally it just doesn't do anything, which I can kind of deal with. That's CSS for you, isn't it? Anyway, gradients. How am I going to add a gradient?
Good question. When you say gradient, you're wanting to have a gradient of colors as a filter on top.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I'm sure that's possible.
We do a background gradient on the div and then the opacity of the image slightly reduced so the gradient shows through.
Oh, that sounds like a faff though, Tom.
Okay.
No, add gradient to image with CSS. I thought there was a way to do it with, just with the filter property.
Oh, actually, yeah, because you can just put a background image. You can just put, I think you're right.
Ah, this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the background image doing then? Would that need to be the image of pumpkin?
Yeah.
All right. Let's give it a go. I need filter. Linear gradient to bottom, all of these, and that would be pumpkin.jpg capitals. Do I even need that? What's the chat saying?
Sarah thinks that's not filter, that's background. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, it is. There isn't a gradient option on the filter property. Really? I could have sworn I'd seen that. Well, let's see what this does.
What was that one? Sorry, I missed which one.
Filter hue rotate 90 degrees. What do you think it's going to do?
Rotate the hue, but I don't know what that is.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Gradient.
Oh?
That actually looks like a gradient, weirdly.
Yeah. We could have pretended that's what we meant.
Yeah, that's what we had planned all along. Yeah. CSS hue rotates. The hue rotate function rotates the hue of the element. Yes, but what does that mean in real terms?
Sarah in the chat is suggesting, or maybe Sarah, sorry, we could do something with blend mode.
Yeah, they're quite nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
W3 schools blend modes. Background blend mode property. Oh yeah, but if you just do blend mode, that would work on a non-background image, I think. Let's try color dodge. Blend. Mix blend mode. I don't think it was always called that. Was it? Maybe it was. Anyway. It's kind of, that's almost our sepia effect.
It is, isn't it?
Anyway, let's leave it at this, and we'll call that a gradient because it is kind of a pink to green gradient. It'll do anyway. Sepia is nice and easy. Filter, sepia, 60%. And just to show you, looking good. Nice.
I think that's sepia enough. Maybe we should whack the percentage up to...
I wonder what 100 actually looks like. Oh yeah, no, it's like Victorian pumpkin. Beautiful. So now we want to add the event listeners to the buttons and wire them up.
Yeah.
With this, what's the best way to add event listeners to a lot of buttons?
Well, that kind of opens a can of worms, doesn't it? Do you want to add an event listener to each button, or should we add one event listener on that? We've got a buttons container, haven't we? And then just get the ID of each button. That might be best. So put one event listener on BTN container, an ID on each button, and then just get the ID of that button and then decide which function to call based on that, perhaps.
Sounds good. My only slight worry with it is, I mean, I don't think we need to optimize too much at this stage, but if you put it on the container and then someone clicks the gap, what will it do then?
Well, it will, so inside the function on the event listener, we're going to have to decide sort of like, okay, so if the event.target.id is this, then do this. And then eventually it will do nothing. If we cover the bases that we want, then clicking in the gap just won't cause the event listener to actually do very much. Oh,
okay. So it will just be the same as if the event listeners were on the buttons anyway, I think.
Yeah. But
all right. That sounds good. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, let's see where we go with it. We can always retract it, as you say.
Cool. So blur. I wish I'd gone now for B and W, but oh well. Black and white, gradient, and sepia.
Let's see, the chat probably disagrees with us about... Yeah, there are other ideas in the chat, but that's cool. On each button.
That is a good point from Chisholm here. On each button, you have to first remove the previous class and then add the one that you want. Yeah, because otherwise only the one furthest down in the style sheet would render, I think.
Yeah, but maybe the event listener could do that, right? The first thing it does is it removes any... Oh, can it remove it all the time?
Interesting.
Yeah, that's something we're gonna...
So anyway, let's get started and see what happens, I guess. So, I didn't have an ID on here because we also need to grab this.
Oh yes.
Equals BTN container. Some people would say, well, why don't you grab it by the class? But what if you use that class somewhere else, It's risky. I like to use IDs for JS, classes for style.
I do, definitely.
So, document dot get element by ID, this dot add event listener, click, and then filter, I guess. All right, function filter. I was hesitating because I was wondering if filter is some kind of reserved keyword.
Sometimes, doesn't it, in Scrimba? Yeah, you find it's...
Yeah, but seems to be cooperating. Console.log beep. Why did it Seems to be running. Oh,
yeah, that's it.
oops.
Shall we
We have beeps.
also just check we can log out the ID of the button okay? Because I think we're going to have to use right.
Yeah, good idea. Button.id. Okay.
So
Error, unknown error.
if we take the event into the filter function and then log out the event.target.id, I mean on line 3.
E.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I never do this. Right.
And
So
now e.target.id, hopefully.
Oh.
That's gonna,
There.
yeah.
That is working well. You don't have a variable named button. Ah, right. Yes, that's a good point. Yes, good. You can put filter in the event listener. You'll call it. Oh, yeah. So that the reason it was calling straight away was because I had the brackets in there. So now, let's add one.
Okay.
Then we'll talk about removing them, I reckon.
Yeah.
First, I will remove that one from in there. And, yeah. So we're going to need to grab the image, actually, aren't we?
Yes.
And that will need to be a variable. Const image equals. Nope, I don't want that. Document dot get element by ID.
Image and ID. I can't remember if we did. Maybe didn't.
I don't think so. Yeah, they're not class. ID equals image. So now we've. Oh, blimey. There we go. Let's just check that has actually worked. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So now we're going to. Is it as simple as image dot?
Yeah. Dot add. We could do, yeah. Or, I mean, this is a question actually. Are we going to add the classes and then take them away every time, or will each button toggle on and off? Because you can apply multiple filters to an image at the same time, right? There's no reason why not. You can have a faded, a blurred black and white image.
That is true.
If we use toggle and then we do something with the buttons that makes it clear when a button has been sort of switched on and when it's switched off, then that could be kind of cool.
That is a good point. But then on like the iPhone photo app or Instagram, you can only choose one filter. You can't kind of layer them. So what's best? Let us know in the chat what you think we should do.
You couldn't blur a black and white image? Oh.
If you go into edit and fiddle with it, you can. Yeah. But the preset kind of filters, I don't think you can. Interesting. So let's add this just to see what happens. So currently this, is that the right syntax? Yes. Yeah. Good. So are we going to save the button's ID into a variable called filter?
I suppose, well, so the e.target.id there should give us the class name that we want, right? So can we use that in the add? Can we just add e.target.id? I don't know if that's going to work, to be honest, but it might be worth a try.
Okay.
It works.
It does indeed work. And
oh,
kind of seems like it's removing... actually, no, it's not. What's happening is it's looking down the style sheet and it just applies
Yes.
the bottom one. So we have blur and then black and white. But if you go back to blur, it doesn't do it because black and white is here.
But
Okay.
wait. Okay, yeah, that's
because we can go to gradient.
actually. So those filters are just overriding each other. But if you put multiple filters in a CSS selector, then you can actually apply them all.
Can you?
Yeah, I tried it earlier.
So if we moved that, that's a bit difficult to really tell if that.
Yeah, blur one should be.
Oh.
Try adding.
Oh, I think they have to be. I think this works. You do that. Maybe not.
That's really strange. I tried that literally half an hour ago, and I'm sure it worked.
That's CSS for you.
Try refreshing. I don't know, and like pressing the button again.
I'm actually interested to know what classes it has now. So let's get the old dev tools out. Oh, you can't actually. Oh no, you can. So it does have all of the classes, which is what I would have expected.
But only the final filter is making any difference. Yeah.
Yeah, seems it. Okay, so now without the comma. Oh. You know, sometimes it's with comma, sometimes it's without, and yeah, Sarah has got it right. Nice one. So that is an interesting point we might come back to later if we decide that you want to be able to layer them.
Yeah.
I guess we would have to do that.
Yeah, we'll have to change the JS quite a bit, but hey, that's cool.
Now I'm wondering if we should have just had one class with filter, and then you can you do that with JS? You change the class. I don't think you can you?
Sorry, what do you mean? So you
if we had one class called filter, which was
and we change the filter property each time. So you do element dot style dot filter equals sepia 100%.
Yeah, so you can do that.
Yeah, that might be a better way actually. I think at the beginning I said let's toggle classes, but actually
having gotten started, I think I agree. That probably would be better.
So we could just.
Then we'll just have to change this, and we won't have this in our style sheet.
Yep.
Let's give it a go. So we want filter to always be on there. At least.
Well, we're not going to. We're just adding styles to the element in general, right? I don't think.
Right. Yeah. So classes. We don't even need that at all.
No.
Yeah. Good. So now we'll do image dot style dot filter.
Yeah. And then now I suppose maybe if we're clever we can use the e.targetID to say what it is we want to filter. But it needs to be equals. It needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess not these.
Yeah. But now we also need to give it an amount.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be tricky because some want a percentage and some want a 0.5 or something, don't they?
Oh. Actually, yeah, you're right. Maybe this wasn't the way to go because we need to get this into there and not the IDs, which are these. So it's not going to cut it unless we go down the route of some kind of switch statement where we have, if it's blur, you change it to
Or added data attribute to the buttons containing the CSS that we want to add. Is that a bit hacky?
I have no idea what it is, but it sounds like it might be. So what we've learned from this is that this was the right way, at least for now. So we're going to just Control Z that and go back and pretend the last 5 minutes didn't happen, I think. So sticking to this, we have these. And now, as people have been saying in the chat, get rid of the previous class.
Yeah.
So we don't want toggle, do we?
No, because that's actually not going to work. Yes, because whatever happens, the last use of filter CSS is going to overrule it. So what we really, I guess, need to do is iterate over the class list and remove everything. Or we have to list out the potential styles and remove them all. But I'm just trying to think, is there we might have to Google that actually. Just can we just remove all classes in one go?
I think you can, but doing that in production would be probably not what you want, because then, I mean, it doesn't actually matter here, but if, for example, we'd styled this with border radius and that, we would get rid of it. But I suppose you could then set the class to the other classes. So let's, for the sake of demonstration, class equals image. And I will put this in. Oh, we actually already have that. Do we? Yes. No, we don't.
Oh.
Well, anyway, it's in the CSS. So we have class equals image. Let's say, there must be in there. No, it's not. I'll give that a border.
That's the image selector. There's no dot. It's not a class.
Ah, yeah.
That's a reason.
I'll do that then. There we go. Border radius, 20 pixels. Why not? Or 10. Yeah. So now, I think what we can do in the JS is start with image.classList equals.
What are you thinking? To remove all classes?
To start off, I just want to set it to be image class is only image.
Yeah, and that's tricky. I mean, so you're saying let's remove all classes and then add back the class of image.
Well, I guess essentially it would do that, but it would just be setting it to be image. Yeah. Is there a better way? There probably is.
I mean, you can do like class list or add image.
Oh, you can do image.className equals. I think that's what I was looking for.
Okie dokie. Let's try that.
Right. Okay, so we have this. So now let's try. It's now on the sepia one. That has worked. Amazingly. Yeah. So what this is doing now.
Oh, nice.
It's setting image.className to be just image first. And then the next thing it's doing. Right, yeah. Image class list add, and then the filters. Thank you.
No, I think, thank you, Sarah. That is a neat way of doing it.
Yeah. Hamlet says we can use a conditional if it contains the class, then get rid of it.
Yeah, but that's going to be more long-winded, isn't it, than what we've just done?
It is. I think in production it would be safer though, because you would be sure that you're only removing the classes that you wanted to remove.
Yeah.
Yeah. Image class name, image blur would add the two. Yeah, it would. Good one. Cool. So what I'll do now is save this and send it over your way for some coding fun, Tom. I will keep an eye on the chat. Let me know when you're ready for me to share your screen.
Okay.
Suraj says, a great teacher will remember always. Yes. Ibrahim said, let's change the style each time. Yes, I think that is the way to go. Totally.
Okay, I have shared my screen.
You probably have to reshare it within StreamYard. Oh no, it's there.
Yeah, that's where I've...
Oh, now we have infinite Tom and Leanne. Okay, there we go.
I've frozen. Oh no, I'm back.
No. Unfrozen Tom and mine.
That's it. It is working. That's cool. Oh,
can you get the Scrimba link afterwards so you can play around with it? Yes, remind us at the end and we'll send it over. Cool.
Is it? I think it's still on your screen, isn't it?
No, that's your screen. Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking on my second screen and there's a delay. No problem.
All good.
Right. What is the next course of action?
I think we should have a look at letting the user download their filtered image.
Yeah. Okay. So to do that then, well, we've got the image right there. And what should we do this just with like an href? Is that?
Yeah. Let's have a look at what that does.
Yeah.
Just to try it out, and then
should we put it between the image and the buttons? Download.
Yeah. Let's see what that looks like.
Okie dokie. So now, if we just link, is this actually going to download the image in its altered state, or it's just going to download the image? Let's see.
Don't know. Yeah, I assumed we would have to save the image at the end of the JS function, but maybe not.
Well, okay, let's see what's happening. So we just put that download attribute in there and hit save. And then now if we apply, I don't know, the sepia, the blur, let's go with the blur. Then it's see, I'll click download image and it's going to save it. So let's just save that. And no, that hasn't done what we wanted at all.
No.
Wait there. Let's go back to Finder. That's just saved the whole page. Not what we wanted. Why?
Oh, didn't we need to? Oh, I feel like we need to put in the source of the image somewhere else as well. Download image with JS.
I thought we just needed the URL and the href. Got it.
Interesting. Have a look with HTML. HTML download attribute. A download equals file name. W3 Schools reckons.
Oh, okay, that's good. Out of try. And then what we need the href or not? Let's give that a save and see what happens.
Possibly not.
I think it might. Oh no, it has downloaded the JPEG. Oh, but it says it could not be opened because it's empty.
Really? How odd.
Let's see what's actually. Yeah, 0 bytes, that image.
Oh no, I only gave you half the information because it says, href equals, and that's the file path. And then the download, I'm guessing, is what you're saving it as.
Okay, but that's what we've got right now.
I don't think we've got the href, have we? Oh no, we do. Dunno then. Is it something to do with the file path? Pumpkin.jpg.
What do you think we need? No, we don't. I mean, it finds the image. I mean, that's the path that works for the source.
Yeah.
Is anyone in the chat helping us?
Sadly not. Maybe what we need is a different approach.
Yeah.
I saw earlier, download image with JS. Something, oh crikey, something like this. Is that what we want?
Are you sharing your screen? Sorry.
Oh, no. We have function download source. And then, wow, I don't even know what this is doing.
Okay.
Got some ideas in the chat. Anna, maybe download shouldn't have .jpg. No. Really?
Really?
It's worth a shot.
That seems a bit peculiar, doesn't it? But...
Back to Tom's screen.
No, that just then saves the actual HTML document or something along those lines. I think that might also be empty. Yeah.
JavaScript add download button. This looks slightly different. Ahref, your link, download file name. Pardon my ignorance, says Heidi. It says download attribute has some problems with Chrome. This we have seen, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the issue.
Although it did. It has some
Let's
problems.
blame Chrome.
So I think I did see somewhere earlier quite a convoluted process where you make a fetch request instead or something along those lines. But then that possibly is assuming that you've got your image somewhere on your server, not just in the sidebar of Scrimba.
Yes, this is interesting because it's something that you would think would be quite simple, but evidently isn't. So yes, yes, good point. It was not Safari, Heidi, and you were not ignorant. You were absolutely right.
Also, I'm not convinced that they'll be downloading the image as it's been altered by CSS. I think they'll be downloading the image as it exists.
Yeah. Let's move on anyway to letting the user create their own filter.
Okay. So we need another button for that, or how we...
I think we could have a button underneath, maybe a big button that stretches the whole width of all of them, called custom.
style this a little bit.
Nice.
That's our button. We've not got that again. Is that actually okay?
Length.
Sorry. Why is that? It's not in a container, is it? It's.
I think we've got a width set on somewhere else, which it is probably taking.
But it should only be in the body, shouldn't it? The body.
Scroll down slightly. Buttons, width 100 pixels. What happens if you comment that out?
Should we? Oh.
You've got 100 pixels, but you want 100%, don't you, on the custom one?
Yeah, but look, this is a specificity thing, isn't it? Because that is overriding that, despite this one being lower. No, but they can't.
Yeah, but on line 32, it says 100 pixels as well.
Yeah, but that was. Even important doesn't work.
Have you saved the HTML file?
I have to call it custom BTN. Yeah. Oh,
Have
look,
you actually? Okay.
Oh,
Okay, that worked.
now. Oh, but yeah, 100% a little bit much. What should we go with? Actually,
Try 90. I mean, you could do a calc with this. So 4 times 100 plus whatever the gap is. Maybe that's not necessary.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, or we could just have it 100%, but give the body a width because everything's centralized anyway.
Yeah, that's nice.
It might just be easier to give that a width of, I don't know, what's going to be about 300 pixels. That's probably going to be too. Oh. If you put a border on it and see. Once you've done that, then you are going to need the margin or auto trick, aren't you?
All right.
There we are. Get rid of the red. Put the button to 100%. Okay. It's not quite, is it?
I think it's good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah. And I think we should add a gradient on the custom button. Now, there is this tool. Josh Como created this gradient generator tool because you may or may not have noticed that normally gradients, where they're mixing colors in the middle, they end up quite muddy and not very nice. Josh Como made this alternative which doesn't do that. It keeps things bright and lovely. So this is the gradient I think we should put into or onto the button. Tom, incoming to your Slack now.
Cool. Oh, did everyone just get a sneak preview of what's in my Slack inbox?
Briefly. Let's hope it's there.
If there's anything too exciting. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. We should change the size, huh? Do you think?
What, make it bigger? So yeah, it matches the others.
I was thinking actually the color, or do you think the color works okay on that background?
Yeah,
be
That's
bigger?
the issue. Maybe if you put it bold text, then
Yeah, okay.
it'll stand out a bit more. And maybe text transform uppercase.
Oh, didn't seem to make. Oh, I don't think. Are we using?
Oh, yeah. So if we go to the HTML and add plus 900, then
Where are we?
is it 900 or 700? Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of going off my screen here. There we are. But we've only got one. Let's go after. Might be quicker just to grab it.
Yeah.
Here we are. So we just need to add. Or should we go for something extra? Well, let's just go for bold, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready for action. Now, Rick, going back to the download business, says, I'm checking W3 and it says maybe you're not supposed to have the same file name in source and file. You have to have them both the same. So either you do have to have them the same or you shouldn't have them the same. Anyway, possibly one of those two. But as we've only got 7 minutes left, I think we should continue with our custom button.
Yeah. What do we actually want this button to allow the users to do?
Good question. Maybe what we should have done with this is random. So it chooses one of those at random. Or maybe it gives wacky colors at random. What do you think in the chat? What would you expect from a random button on the filter app? I reckon for now we should put one of the existing filters in at random. And then if, people suggest it, we can maybe add some other ones.
Yeah, it'd be cool if it was like the gradient but with randomly generated colors, or what are we doing for the gradient in the end? We're doing the hue rotate. Yeah, I mean, maybe that could be that.
Could be. Yeah. Hue rotate and then a different number maybe.
Yeah, they're not massively different, are they? Hue rotate is a little bit of a disappointment for me, to be honest.
Not rotating enough. Kashi says, customer, I would expect to be able to do my own values, but random sounds cool. I would just change the button text to random, I guess. Yes, good plan.
Should we just do that?
I reckon so. Suraj thinks we should get rid of the yellow color, which is a fair point because it's a bit on the, hard to read side.
Oh, on the gradient. Yeah.
I think you're right. In production, I would probably get rid of the yellow, as much as I like it. Yes, but we'll leave it for now. Yay, says Kay. I finally made it to the live. Can you show my comments so I can show off with my friends? Thanks. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming. Invert Colors says, get a better name.
Invert colors. What, for the random function?
Maybe just a suggestion of another one we could do. Yeah. Randomly switch the classes on and off with tune suggestion. Yes, mix and match previous filters. And Rick says maybe a custom can select all the filters at the same time. Oh, to 50% of their originals. Yeah. Lots of ideas. I think, what was your idea, Tom? We're going to add the hue rotate one, but with a bigger number, or did we decide against that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that dramatic, if we're honest, but I mean, we can mock it up here. Unless, I mean, can you go mad? Can you go like 1,000? It's not only quite subtle changes.
In that case, I think we should just select one of the existing ones at random and have that render.
Okay, cool. So, should we just set up a new event listener for the? We should change the name of the button probably to that.
Yeah.
Let's give it a class, an ID then.
Cool. Sarah says, randomly replace the image of pumpkin with an image of a pumpkin. That would be random indeed. Create 4 new filters, says Alexander.
Yeah. Maybe, well, okay, so let's get the function. Okay. So what are we going to do with this image when we click? Okay. Oh, did I change the class of the button and not? Yeah, probably. There we are. Back in business. So we want this random button to, what did we decide in the end? Just add randomly one of the classes.
So I guess we're going to need to generate a random number
and then
save them all in an array. Yeah.
If it's
so if we save them all in an array.
Okay.
And then select a random number between 0 and length of array, and then put that one.
Array of filters, not very much name, but never mind. So we had blur. What were the others?
We got black and white, gradient, and sepia.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Math.random array of filters.length, I guess.
And yeah. And now we want to do image dot. Actually, we want to copy that line as well, don't we, to reset it?
Yeah. We probably will refactor this to just have this function called random, selecting the random number, because the last 2 lines are going to be doing the same thing as the filter function. But let's carry on.
Yeah, you're right. This is not very dry, but we would pick that up on a refactor, as you just said.
Definitely.
Class list dot add array of filters. Is this going to work? Seems like it. Wow.
Whoa. Yay!
But it only works once, and it always does blur.
Premature celebration.
Why is it always doing blur?
Console log the random num. Is it always giving 0?
Array of filters. It shouldn't do, should it? Let's see.
No. Unless there's something slightly off with the syntax of the...
Yeah, I did think it's gone to...
It's only picking zeros, says Dave.
It is only picking zeros.
Ew.
But
Array of filters.
Oh, wait there. It's meant to be...
I think, once again, I will Google generate random number. No, because we haven't got what we need is we need to multiply it.
There we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then add 1.
Add 1?
Because otherwise, actually no, for our purposes, I don't think we need to add 1. Okay, what's it doing now then?
Yeah, so I think it is. Let's try. Okay. There we are.
1.
1.
0.
2.
2.
And we just need a 3. Does it ever give it? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Woo!
So it does. Okay,
Yes.
not bad. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Wow.
Might
Look
be
at
embarrassing to get the old math.floor syntax wrong on the first go, but I'll get over
I
it.
have to Google that every single time I use it.
Yeah.
Well, there we are. Oh, we did say earlier in the chat, someone asked to have the link to the Scrim so they can play around afterwards. So can you see the chat? If not, send it to me and I'll share it in the chat.
I can. Let's see. I can see it, but I don't think it lets me actually write in it. There's no...
Oh, send it to me on Slack and I will share it then.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So that will be incoming shortly. But for now, I will let you know what's happening in the next live streams. We have something very exciting coming up. Discovering Bootstrap next Friday. Yes. Michael and I will be installing, downloading, maybe, not sure, and using Bootstrap together. So yeah, come along and see what that's all about. Also talking to Nadia, who is a self-taught coder. Switched careers in 9 months on Wednesday. No, not next Wednesday, the one after that. So come along and chat to Nadia. And the long-awaited Busting Tech Jargon is happening on August 17th with Michael. So if you fancy coming to those, hit subscribe so you don't forget them. Yes. I'm not... Oh, there it is. The link to our little project is in the chat right now. Yes. Thank you all for coming and for your helpful advice, saving the day left, right, and center. And yes, who'd have thought that adding a download button would be that complicated? Interesting. Any closing thoughts, Tom?
I think I need to get to the bottom of that download button thing. I guess it's just
Yes.
to do particularly, but or at least not like that. I mean, I think it's possibly easier if it's coming from the database somewhere rather than actually just trying to get one you've already got, especially after you've applied CSS.
Yeah.
Have to think about that all weekend.
Maybe that can be put somewhere in the career path.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
If we can figure out a way of doing it. Yeah.
If we actually find out how to do it, yes. Brilliant. Well, have a wonderful weekend, all of you. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this and let us know what we should cook up on the Scrimba live stream next. See you all later.
Bye.